In professional hockey, especially in the NHL, the dynamics between players and their coaches can sometimes be tense and challenging. Some coaches, known for their controversial methods, end up on the list of the least liked. Today, we're going to dive into the stories of 6 such coaches who've made more enemies than friends in the league. These coaches are known for clashing with players, creating drama, and often stirring up discontent within their teams. From shouting matches to questionable decisions, these coaches have left an indelible mark on the NHL. Not always commendable reasons. Let's explore these coaches and understand why they've earned such a reputation. Mark Crawford, a coach in the NHL, had a career full of controversy due to his harsh behavior, especially towards younger players. Some former NHL players like Sean Avery and Brent Sopel have spoken out about how Crawford was verbally abusive and had a quick temper. For example, Sean Avery once talked about how Crawford kicked him during a game because of a mistake that led to a penalty. Another famous incident with Crawford happened in a 1997 playoff game when his team, the Colorado Avalanche, was losing badly to the Detroit Red Wings. In frustration, Crawford tried to climb over the glass that separates the coaches of the two teams. These stories show Crawford as a coach who was not just strict, but often crossed the line, making him a well-known but controversial figure in the world of NHL coaching. Next up, Mike Keenan, known as Captain Hook, was an NHL coach famous for often changing goalies during games. He had a tough way of coaching, often getting into arguments with his players and the team's management. Keenan was known for being very critical of his star players, which caused many of them to lose respect for him. 2 incidents really show how tough he could be. First, there was a time when Dale Hawerchuk's grandmother, who was very ill, came to watch him play, hoping to see him one last time. But Keenan chose to bench Hawerchuk for the whole game, which upset Hawerchuk and his teammate Brett Hull. The second incident happened when Hull spoke up against Keenan's decision. In response, Keenan took away Hull's role as the team captain. These actions by Keenan show how his tough approach often led to negative feelings and conflicts within the teams he coached. Ken Hitchcock, a coach with a traditional old-school approach, was known for using tough methods like humiliation and anger to push his players to perform better. He was successful in terms of winning games, but his way of coaching started to cause problems as hockey changed over the years. Hitchcock's methods often made players upset and created a lot of tension within the team. One famous example of this is the star player Brett Hull. Hitchcock once told his team that scoring goals wasn't important, which really confused and annoyed Hull. Hull couldn't understand this idea, especially when they were losing games. He even questioned Hitchcock's logic during practice, leading to a big argument between them. This incident shows how Hitchcock's old-fashioned coaching style wasn't always effective with modern players who expected a different kind of leadership and communication. His insistence on such a rigid philosophy often led to disagreements and a strained atmosphere in the locker room. Ron Wilson, a coach with a knack for creating tension with his team's top players, often faced issues in maintaining good relationships with them. When he was coaching the San Jose Sharks, he had a habit of publicly criticizing one of the team's stars, Patrick Marleau. This approach didn't sit well with Marleau, and over time it led to a strained and uncomfortable relationship between the player and the coach. Wilson's move to the Toronto Maple Leafs brought more of the same. He clashed with Phil Kessel, another key player, over his performance. The situation got so bad that Wilson resorted to frequently shuffling Kessel around in the lineup, trying to find a successful combination. Kessel was visibly upset by these changes, and when asked about it, he expressed his frustration, hinting at a desire for a change, which many thought meant he wanted to leave the team. However, Kessel later clarified that he was simply unhappy with the current situation. This lack of clear communication between Wilson and Kessel added to the internal problems within the team. It was a classic case of a coach failing to connect with his players, leading to a negative atmosphere that affected the whole team. Wilson's inability to establish a positive rapport with his star players, especially Kessel, was a significant factor in the internal issues that plagued his coaching tenure. Mike Babcock, once highly regarded in the NHL coaching community, saw a significant decline in his reputation due to his questionable treatment of players and his tendency to play mind games. His approach to coaching, which was once seen as effective, came under scrutiny for being too harsh, and at times, downright mean. Johan Franzen, a former player under Babcock, didn't mince words, calling him the worst person I ever met, a statement that sheds light on the kind of negative impact Babcock had on his players. 2 incidents particularly stand out in illustrating Babcock's controversial methods. First, there was the time when Mike Modano, a legendary player, was on the verge of playing his 1,500th regular season game, a significant milestone in any NHL player's career. But Babcock, for reasons unclear, chose to bench Modano, denying him the opportunity to achieve this rare feat. This decision wasn't just a professional blow to Modano. It was seen as a personal slight, a lack of respect for his contributions to the game. Similarly, Jason Spezza, a veteran player excited to play for his hometown team, the Toronto Maple Leafs, faced a similar situation. On opening night, a game loaded with personal significance for Spezza, Babcock decided to make him a healthy scratch, effectively sidelining him on a night that meant a great deal to him and his family. This move was seen as unnecessarily harsh and indicative of Babcock's disregard for the personal and emotional aspects of his players' lives. These instances contributed significantly to the growing perception of Babcock as a coach who lacked empathy and understanding for his players. His actions went beyond the realm of tough coaching into what many considered to be needlessly cruel, tarnishing his reputation and legacy in the league. Lastly, John Tortorella, a name that evokes strong reactions in the world of hockey. He's a coach who's as famous for his hot-headed antics as he is for his coaching skills. Tortorella's style is confrontational, often leading to fiery exchanges with players, reporters, and even fans. This approach has landed him in hot water on multiple occasions, resulting in fines and a reputation for being a troublemaker in the league. One of the most talked about incidents in Tortorella's career was during the 2014 Winter Classic. In a surprising move, he chose to play backup goalie Eddie Lack over Roberto Luongo, a decision that sparked controversy and frustration among fans and players alike. In another notable moment, during the 2009 playoffs, Tortorella lost his cool with heckling Washington fans, going as far as throwing a water bottle at them. He even grabbed a player's stick in an attempt to reach them through the protective glass. It's actions like these that have cemented Tortorella's image as a coach who sometimes lets his temper get the better of him. Tortorella's no-nonsense approach extends to his dealings with the media. His press conferences are often terse and confrontational, with Tortorella showing little patience for questions he deems foolish or irrelevant. This attitude, while entertaining for some, has often been criticized as disrespectful and unprofessional. Despite his controversial methods, Tortorella has had his share of success as a coach. His aggressive style can be effective, pushing players to their limits and achieving results on the ice. However, this same intensity often alienates those around him, leading to strained relationships and a divisive reputation within the hockey community. Whether you love him or hate him, there's no denying that John Tortorella is a coach who leaves a lasting impression. These coaches, with their unique styles and controversial methods, have left an indelible mark on the NHL, not always for the right reasons. Their stories serve as a reminder of the complex dynamics between coaches and players in professional sports. Remember to like and subscribe for more NHL insights and stories. Stay tuned for our next video, where we delve deeper into the intriguing world of NHL coaching.